Phoenix's turn to ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Phoenix's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Bounty Hunter.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Night Stalker.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you guys. Welcome back. We have one best of one from the SEA group stage here in Season 3 of WePlay. Because Team Redemption, they forfeited up against TNC. They're going to be playing up against MVP Phoenix here. We do have a pretty full schedule though for the rest of the day. Through CIS, Navi against Empire, PD against Empire, West. We've got a couple of other games. Oh, the NA coming up later on tonight.
10 seconds
Pretty
remaining.
action-packed day actually. ESL, Dota Pit, WePlay, 3 tournaments all going on at the same
5
time. But for
seconds
now,
remaining.
cracking into this game, shall we? Redemption against MVP Phoenix. Co-caster,
Reserve time.
going on.
Yeah, it's a shame that Redemption forfeited the first game against TNC, because that would have been a pretty fun game. I always love watching TNC, but they're here now, and considering my past history with MVP Phoenix, it's going to be a fun game. And the MVP Phoenix actually picked the Bounty Hunter first, which is unusual to say the least, but considering their past history of, they almost always take Bounty Hunter, and they feel like it depends on the team they're playing. And against Redemption, I guess they're pretty damn confident that this Bounty Hunter is gonna
Phoenix's
create
turn
space.
to pick.
Juggernaut.
See what they get up to.
Phoenix's
I've always
turn
enjoyed
to
February
ban.
Bounty Hunter or the Enchantress, kind of just roaming around, causing havoc. Team Redemption picking Night Stalker first, though. We did see DDZ go mid Night Stalker. Now, with an NS mid, how hard does he get zoned out by like a
10
roaming bounty
seconds
hunter?
remaining.
Feels like he'd just be a little bit too tough.
Well, he's one of the
5
much better
seconds
heroes
remaining.
against Bounty Hunter. He has high armor, a lot of HP, and
Reserve time.
there's also the benefit that if he does go for the Agnum Scepter early on, then it's gonna Bounty Hunter is
Reserve
roaming
time.
a lot harder, especially if his
Radiant
team pulls him a
team
gem. But still, Bounty Hunter is a Bounty Hunter, and if Redemption's not ready, they don't have a Sentry Ward, or MVP picks a really strong mid hero for QO, then he's still gonna struggle. You can't just completely
10
solo
seconds
1-on-2
remaining.
the Bounty Hunter. That's the other mid heroes completely
5 seconds remaining.
non-aggressive, like Zeus without mana.
We'll see for QO because play a lot of
Phoenix's
Invoker
turn
and
to
OD.
ban.
And I'm just taking a very quick look at the last couple of matches, and I can't see anything for like 7 or 8 games where QO has actually played anything other than Invoker or OD. Obviously his hero pool is still pretty decent, but it's going to be a
10
change of
seconds
here for
remaining.
MVP. Juggernaut still pretty standard to MP at top. Jugger and
5
Ember, he's been
seconds
playing a hell of a
remaining.
lot of recent. Phoenix
Radiant
deciding to get rid of a
team
couple of these more annoying offlane heroes, the Master, the Batrider, these control heroes. Trying to farm the jungle and get into these bro items a little bit faster.
Well, there's still a lot of good meta heroes available. Lone Druid, DP.
10 seconds remaining.
What else is there?
That's right, DP's still out there.
5
DP
seconds
Bounty Hunter
remaining.
can be pretty brutal. Like the bounty hunter maims you with the first hit, and then you get the soul siphon
Reserve
off.
time.
A lot of damage. It doesn't result in a kill. At least a lot of damage to kind of swing the matchup.
That little bit of advantage your way is always good. Redemption, still thinking about things here. They did ban out the Void as well as that OD. Phoenix took out the Chen, but a
Radiant
lot of
team
ban
pick.
for him to get his hand. What they're building here, Vengeful Spirit is still out there. What to go with. Speaking of heroes and players that have been kind of going hand in hand, Duba's been playing a lot of Witch Doctor as well recently. Like that's his main go-to hero. I guess he picked up Earth Spirit a couple times as well, but PP Phoenix honestly has to
10
change their
seconds
draft from
remaining.
the kind of gold standard they've set for themselves. You know, they've always been getting these
5
comfort picks,
seconds
and I think
remaining.
they've done a pretty good job here of swinging the draft at least away from the comfortable
Reserve
heroes that
time.
Phoenix like to get their hands on.
What Redemption needs to do is not overreact to the bounty hunter and Juggernaut. They do just kind of make sure that they can survive the early game phase without getting too disrupted by the bounty hunter. And the nature of bounty hunter is that if you group up, isn't as useful unless he has track and you lose a team fight. But then again, bounty hunter isn't that good in team fights. He's underrated in team fights, but if they just completely get paranoid with the bounty hunter, then tough.
Phoenix's turn to pick.
Lina.
Radiant
Wondering if
team
that's gonna
pick.
be the mid Lina, because I was gonna say they probably want to anti-Juggernaut counters, like BKB control, or this Lina can go Ags, which is pretty nice against Juggernaut, but a support Lina will probably not get Ags in time for it to be counter to the Juggernaut. I'm thinking intuitively this Lina is more leaning towards the mid.
10 seconds
Throw
remaining.
Night Stalker towards the offlane caps. Still up against the Bane and
5
Juggernaut, so
seconds
probably
remaining.
gonna go Boots first. Go for that Iron Talon and head into the jungle.
Reserve time.
Darkseer.
Darkseer is their offlane hero, so it's gonna be
Phoenix's turn
more
to
roll
pick.
Night Stalker, maybe even an aggressive dual lane of Darkseer Night Stalker. Iron Shell thrown onto the little blue man, and there's the Death Prophet.
Radiant team ban.
Massive surprise, still left in the pool. Phoenix rounding out their draft pretty nicely here. They've got control, they've got lane domination with the Bounty Hunter roaming from side to side. Potential, and also some pretty good pushing power. Well, Redemption, their laning stage,
10 seconds
even-
remaining.
it's more aggressive, honestly. Darkseer Night Stalker run at people, Lina can really
5
burst people down
seconds
very
remaining.
quickly. Final hero, the safe lane carry, I'm guessing.
Phoenix's turn to ban.
He needs to keep up with the Darkseer, Night Stalker, and Lina's pace because they're all very fast heroes. Ability, maybe.
And then they're gonna pick anti-mage like last time.
Just a random anti-mage pick. Mage out
10
of nowhere.
seconds remaining.
I mean, a hero like Spectre wouldn't be awful
5
here, I don't think.
seconds remaining.
Farm one side of the map, jump elf around, get into the fights, and pick off.
Yeah, Spectre is
Reserve time.
the carry nature of Spectre is very different from anti-mage. If you are coordinated enough, you can. Spectre isn't necessarily a late game hero. She provides a lot of utility through providing vision, and she can at early earn or whatever early game oriented opening builds and help the team out in many ways. The laning choices for I mean at least the heroes so far make a lot of sense against the bounty hunter. Darkseer is generally pretty good against bounty hunter because he's going to push out the waves, and it's awkward for bounty hunter to harass the Darkseer. And Stalker is a
team
support
pick.
if he is the 4th position. Not too bothered by bounty hunter. He's tanky. There's almost no way bounty hunter is going to run him down. Lina slightly susceptible to gank at mid. Still, if she's carrying a dust or she gets farmed enough, then she can just one-shot the bounty hunter.
Final pick for Redemption, the
10
Slark band
seconds
there. A
remaining.
mobile, slippery hero that works pretty nicely for Redemption, chasing
5
people down, can
seconds
keep up with the
remaining.
Night Stalker and Darkseer. It's a pretty intelligent band from,
Reserve time.
honestly. And actually take time here, think. The big one that we haven't talked about is like the elephant in the room is the gyrocopter.
10
You know,
seconds remaining.
it's still out there. It's still available as a carry hero. Does combo up decently.
Yeah, but I mean,
but again,
yeah, recently we saw a lot of
Phoenix's
gyrocopter games from
turn
Redemption,
to
and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the way Redemption played gyrocopter was less than ideal. So they went for the Morphling, and almost immediately, MVP Phoenix takes Tidehunter. Just generally a good hero with their lineup, not necessarily to counter heroes on the side of Redemption. Morphling against his heroes, wondering how he matches up.
well, if he goes for like the Lincoln's builds, I guess he like blocks track, blocks Phoenix, like that. More about the secondary item though. Go into the E-Blade because QO on the DP, you know, susceptible to just getting zapped by E-Blade plus the Blade. A lot of magic damage there if Lance can actually pick up these items. Great, and get that farm going. He's going to be
10
piling the
seconds
pressure on,
remaining.
you know, from the get-go. Febby's going to be roaming around, controlling lanes,
5
farming
seconds
top. Forever will
remaining.
probably just jungle with go buy Iron Talon and go for the first 10 minutes while the rest of the gets themselves going.
Are you watching the Dire Fountain?
There.
As soon as the game started, remember the last time Forth played Tidehunter? Taunt?
Oh right, swimming.
Before he even bought his items, he started, swimming in his fountain, and
Spamming taunt
it's
button.
a sign of what's to come.
Oh, he learnt from the best, huh? Ice in his hotkeys. The taunt hotkey is the most important one. Dear lord. So, in Redemption, what are they? Yeah, they're doing the Night Stalker jungle meme. Iron Talon on the Night Stalker, just farming away. Now, this does mean the lanes are going to be relatively weak in the early stages. They're going to have this kind of 1-1-2 laning setup with Night Stalker. Sitting in the jungle, AFK kinda, but the first night time, Night Stalker should be like level 3.5, level 4-ish. When he comes out, he's a scary beast. Absolute monster. And that's when you start setup. Start really aiming to get these punches down onto the kills at mid. Maybe try and down the bounty hunt. We see sentries actually already out. The mid lane have been given sentries. Like it.
Well,
Vortex.
Mozoon probably has to buy the sentries. This is the downside of playing against Bounty Hunter. If forward positions goes for a greedy build like Boots first or Iron Talon first, there's so much pressure on the fifth position for to buy everything. And Witch Doctor, yes, he did buy the sentries, and he's gonna have to play extremely careful.
No stats. Tangos and clarity.
Yeah, it's brutal. Witch Doctor with no stats items against Bounty Hunter. One thing, the Night Stalker, if he goes straight jungle, we have to remember that Bounty Hunter was a counter to jungling heroes like Chen and Enigma. So if Febby realizes what's happening with Night Stalker, there could be a scenario where Night Stalker won't get to use the full, he won't get the full value out of his Iron Talon start. Yeah, he might get scouted here. If he sees an Iron Talon, he's gonna be like,
to battle.
I see what's going on.
I've had to do this Witch Doctor move many a time in my pub games, when people automatically choose mid lane, off lane, and they're like, right, we're picking all these heroes. Then my fourth guy picks a jungler, he goes like leading command jungle. And I'm sat there, right, I've got port last, I'm gonna be Witch Doctor, I'm gonna be Dazzle, and I just end up, pooling tangos for everyone. I'm walking around with no items at the start. I've bought courier and sentries and wards and smoke. It's not the dream, it's not life, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to win the game. Pebby. Up this camp down here, so no pull spot for Mozoon either. You'll have to sentry this one out.
And with the new spawn boxes, it should be easier to deward this. Before the map change, dewarding this was sort of up to luck.
There were these
it still takes 2 seconds, sure, but
bots. Well, MTR go into the jungle. Where he's sitting, that's where he's staying. Up at the top, what have we got? MP Jugger against Zhang Zai. Dark's here, mid lane's gonna be the Alina. Hero's Death Prof.
Yep. Bounty Hunter on the Night Stalker.
Febby, is he gonna steal it? Punch it! Febby steals it! He's got the first one. And this Night Stalker is just gonna be face palming and kicking himself because honestly. Oh. Better of DDZ there. The amount of investment this Night Stalker's put into the Iron Talon. That bounty hunter coming D-ward mid. Already harassed him to the jungle, it's just a in the backside for him. Lane Lance is actually struggling a tiny amount here up against this Tide Hunter. Flash is annoying, you're not really harassing him efficiently. Lance hits in while Q mid 5 and 2. Top, obviously one of the better heroes against the Darks here. It is kills pretty nicely.
Lanes are going as predicted somewhat. I think Bounty Hunter might have chased the Night Stalker more, but he's focusing on mid, which is completely fine. DDZ is a very important player in Redemption. Not that like some other mid players are less important, but the team is pretty DDZ centric, so putting a lot of pressure on Lina is pretty important for Phoenix.
I'm incredibly surprised they haven't put Night Darks here up at top at this point. When I saw the kind of combination of heroes they had, that's the first came to mind, was this aggressive duel.
Well, the thing is, as soon as they see the Bounty Hunter pick, they know that it's going to be pretty much a dual lane at top. And the reason Night Stalker goes with Darks here is to allow them to get levels. But Darks here was going to get levels either way, so it wouldn't have made a big difference.
Moves back in towards the mid lane. Right, Zhang Zai is at level 4. Nice for himself. Forev harassed down a fair amount by Lance here, but Forev just walks it off, says, I've got a Quelling Blade, I'm going to buy my own Iron Talon. Head back into the jungle. But D. Now, full HP, full mana. Annoying lane to try and handle up against this DP with Soul Siphon, Crypt Bomb, the right click Febby. Spotted out by the sentry there. DDZ can have another one come on in, but here's the Soul Siphon into the right click attack. And the LSA misses here with the Crypt Swarm. QO should be able to secure the first blood, but the Fairy Fire. Lina keeps herself alive. Also charges through. DDZ lives to see another day.
DDZ playing pretty well. There's not like he almost matching the DPS, which is pretty amazing, considering how focused he was on mid. Night Stalker, meanwhile, thanks to DDZ tanking the Bounty Hunter harassment, is getting that level 3, possibly 4. I don't think he'll get 4 before nighttime. Still, not so bad.
To go regen before the first night as well, so he'll make the long wander back towards base. He's got his boots. You can buy like a TP ball, a magic wand, maybe some regen, a clarity, a mango, something like that. Probably a smoke out. Self up. First night, go find a kill somewhere. Now, where do you think the Night Spear aims towards? Aim mid?
Probably mid, though, because the Lina isn't level 6 or even 5, they might like a bit of damage. Also doesn't have silence with
201. Yeah. Maybe just died to the Roshan. Not sure what he was up to. He lost a little bit of gold, but lost some obs wards and he's back bouncing, healing himself up. I guess it was just a little efficiency play. Have any regen or any reason to live anymore. Kills himself off. Bot lane is where the Night Stalker's hitting on into though. Cross, but the backstroke from Forev. Pretty quick on his feet. They're still holding on to this waveform. Out of the Morphling, and you're right. There's the punch from MTR. First blood onto Forev's Tide Hunter.
now, like Febby's gonna make a move on this Lina. DDZ is pretty aware of what's going on. Is he? Maybe not. Oh, Kyo, he's going in pretty deep.
Oh, Kiro didn't realize Night Stalker's there. Febby, he was looping in from the back. The bait from DD has dragged him into that tier 1 tower. VP overextending a little bit. Realizing the strength of this level 4 Night Stalker running around now, nearly has his urn completed. Oh, could be the thorn in their side.
Dire's middle
Game wide
tower
open.
is under attack.
Top, we're still seeing, Dubu plus MP coming away, keeping themselves pretty content. Dogs, yeah. Level 5.5, Soul Ring, TP. He's got himself Arcane's and Mecha at a reasonable time. 15 minutes.
Yeah, one thing that's, despite the early disadvantage that MVP having, the 2 deaths, their offlane and carry is slightly more active than the duo of Redemption, like Darkseer and Morphling. Juggernaut and Titan are generally going to be more available and efficient at early game fighting. So that's something to look forward to for MVP when DP feels comfortable using Exorcism to pressure towers. Juggernaut and Titan are coming will have a lot, whereas Darkseer and probably want to have a bit more time to come up and get levels.
Yeah, Redemption's a lot more sort of item dependent, or a little more cooldown dependent. With
Kyo?
oh god, trouble at mid.
Oh my god, that.
The rune keeps him alive. MVP having, you know, Ravage, Slash, Fiend's Grip, Exorcism, they can just walk into a tier 1 tower and say, you know what, this is ours. Test this. Whereas TR, except for the Lina to get these sort of pick-offs, you need the mech on the Darkseer, and this Morph, definitely, to get his farm going, but he's not going for the Linken's build. He's not going into that that kind of split push stats build. He's actually picked up a Morbid Mass.
Lives?
Thing we've seen from Miracle at MDL goes into more of the sort of statsy, actual hard carry Morphling build. The Helm of the Dominator.
Can you elaborate on what he does with the Helm of the Ancients? Or...
He does a bit of stacking. It's more for like armor, lane sustain instead of getting like a bottle for Perseverance. He's got like Aquila for mana, then he's got Helm for the lifesteal.
For mid?
Regen. And then he goes like Manta style for the actual like oh, Ravage!
What? Ravage?
For him! He catches MTR, but there's no damage coming out. QO backed himself far away from that, and Forev.
Miscommunication there. I think Forev thought DP was gonna fight. And he uses ult, but oh no mana on Lina.
No, bottles up the bounty rune, turns to fight. The LSA is there, the click is through, and DDZ survives. Somehow getting that kill. Febby a little too far away, and Forev didn't react either.
Oh my god, over at top, did you see what happened? Basically, Darkseer and Juggernaut were man-moding, and both were really low. And Juggernaut Omni-Slashed, but it wasn't a good Omni-Slash. It hit Darkseer once and bounced to the illusions, and it ended. And it ended next to Darkseer, so he got the last auto attack on Darkseer. Otherwise, Darkseer would have lived. Close call there.
Count himself lucky. So lucky people. Lina gets away. No, manages to kill up at top. Found a little down here. Double damage. SQO will be one to take in a couple of seconds. Lance. The Dominator's there. But I'm trying to remember the build from Miracle. I can't remember if... Oh god. I can't remember if it was Treads or Boots of Travel into the style. But it was basically just stats
Dire's
into,
bottom tower is under attack.
stats into hard carry. Skipped over the Lincolns to go for the E-Blade. I don't know. Tried to demolish people.
Yeah, I suppose it makes sense in that Morphling generally has really low HP. And he has a lot of damage, so he's gonna make a lot of use of the lifesteal and the D-ward from that. It was a guess, I think, but I'm worried a bit for Febby's level. He's only level 3 right now at almost 10 minutes. And this is definitely not the kind of game where he found like 4 kills by the 10-minute mark and he has that level 6 and he's gonna get the 15-minute mark. See a smoke coming from Du and QO. Probably they're gonna go for the Night Stalker, or are they?
They catch MTR. Looks like they will with the cripple him out. QO's DD rune definitely helping out here. He's wrapping up the DD with a Bane, getting Nightmare down. Goes a little bit slow on the advance, but he's got Soul Slice and another Grip Swarm. They'll try and get a kill to Dubu with the Laguna Blade. It does definitely help out. And DDZ stuns QO up. Febby cannot get this level 1 Shuriken to do enough damage back. Down Mosin here. Diving very deep for him. One more hit's all they need, but QO is stunned up. Hell, on the low ground, and
Ravage.
Ravage is up MTR. The Night Stalker is caught.
Very nice play from DDZ. Baiting out the Ravage almost.
Night Stalker's dead.
And MTR.
Right back in.
Dire's bottom tower is
That
under
was just
attack.
a misplay from MTR. There was no reason for him to go there, especially since, I mean, Night Stalker, the forward position is not going to kill anyone by itself. Bit of an underestimation of what 3 MVP heroes were
Dire's
capable of.
bottom tower is under
All these
attack.
wards out from MVP, and every single one is
Radiant's
getting
middle
dewarded.
tower is under
DDZ saw
attack.
this happening, dewards that one out. There's one that's about to expire up on this high ground here. Redemption, they did a great job at controlling this laning phase, and actually, let's take a look. There's a bunch of heroes up on level 9 at this point, but you look at the Dire supports, level 5 on Bane, level 4 on the Bounty Hunter. This is kind of saying the supports on Dire have been starved a little bit here. Whereas this Witch Doctor, who was in a safe lane dual lane, is level 7. Stacked and pulled and got himself a lot of experience in gold. Night Stalker obviously is a support hero here, but he's been jungling for the most part, so 1-3-2. He's still hit level
Radiant's
6,
top tower
and with the
is
second
under
nighttime
attack.
coming up soon, that darkness. Throw it out and maybe look to get a couple kills, because Lina actually went for Aetherland's primary item, not the Yule Scepter.
Yeah, actually, it's a funny coincidence. I tried playing Lina yesterday, and I went Aetherlands first, and I was actually playing in a game with March, and we were talking about the build on Lina, where most Linas still prefer to go the Yule Scepter, and just Aetherlands being fairly recent to Dota, I went for Aetherlands first, and it feels really good.